Hi, you are listening to the Father Support Network podcast. This podcast is for single fathers and fathers in general. On this podcast, we educate, inform, guide, encourage, and help fathers navigate the complex challenges of maintaining contact and healthy relationships with their children after separation or divorce. Your host is Dr. Michael Uwangba. Michael Uwangba is a father of three who successfully fought for the right of his children to have their father in their lives.
Oh, hello, and happy Friday. I want to briefly just talk about, react to a video. It's a short clip that I watched of American comedian Tk Kirkland being interviewed. I think it was a podcast by a lady. I can't remember the lady's name now. And just the whole interaction. I'll come back to the whole interaction, which is quite interesting. It was quite a one where it looks like Tk Kirkland was being grilled on whether he pays child support, which is what the Americans who have the equivalent they call child maintenance.
How much you paying child support?
Yeah. I don't pay nothing in child support.
Ooh.
Like, I'm a good dad.
Hold on, but you travel all the time.
Yeah,
They're
but I'm still
on
a
different
good dad.
But you don't pay child support?
Why would I pay child support?
So you take them to school every day, you take them to the doctor's offices, you take them to practices,
I
you
mess
take them
with
to the
women
play
that got
dates?
themselves together.
Okay.
And
like a true toxic man. You know what it takes physically? I would rather today, where I am today, I'm doing it alone.
Yes.
And it's hard. But you know how easy it is for me to go and work and make the money? I have to have a nanny, right?
Yes.
How often could you have possibly been
That's
there?
true. But so
were you paying child support then?
I don't pay child support.
Okay, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on.
Like, why would I pay child support? I'm not a bum.
Because did you pay for their school?
Of course.
Okay, so
But you talk so fast, you don't let people get their thoughts out.
You just kept saying I don't pay child support.
You're a judge.
No. You kept saying I don't pay child support.
You put people on the.
Okay, so all these
when
children
I say
you
I pay, no. Let's make sure we're clear. It's very important because I got my parents.
Child support,
Let me finish my thought, darling. When I say don't pay, that's the communication gap.
Okay.
When you saying what do I pay, you're thinking child support. I'm not giving anything. I'm saying I take care of my babies.
Okay, what does that look like?
Yeah, it looks like you take care of them.
Can you explain to me what it looks like for you to have to take care of
the
kids?
school, clothes, trips, etc.
Okay, what about they live in the house with their mom 24/7, right?
Yes.
They live in their home. So do you pay any of those bills in their house?
Yes, I did. They grown now.
We're gonna focus.
When they were kids, yes.
So the 16-year-old not right now. So you still have one that's underage.
Yes, and well taken care of.
What does that look like
It's amazing.
now today?
It's amazing.
What does it look like?
What do you mean? What it looks like
for the 16-year-old right now? What does that look like? How do you take care of him? It's a boy,
visit.
Right?
We hang, go to games, etc.
School?
Yeah,
Pay for
he goes to school. Yeah, I don't take him to school. No, he's 16. No.
So who drives him to school?
His mom.
So you pay for the gas?
No.
Do you pay for her car insurance?
No.
Do you pay for her car bill?
No.
Do you pay for her light bill?
No.
Do you give her money for food?
Of course.
How much?
Whatever she needs.
So every month you don't.
I don't see.
So she has to ask you for it.
See, here's the thing: the structure with most women, and this is how you're thinking. You're thinking, I need X, Y, and Z, but there's some women on this planet who move a certain way, and when they need something, because if you got your stuff together.
So how about you get your stuff together?
Some women will say, "Baby, I need this," and it's done.
Baby, you are my baby's daddy.
No.
We made a mistake, right? Remember?
There you go again with the energy and your toxic energy.
I'm not toxic.
And the way.
I am matter of
Let me finish. And your energy influences negativity. You don't stay calm. Listen to what I'm saying.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm giving you my point. When you do
how much you paying child support?
Yeah. I'm gonna pay nothing.
It was quite interesting. It was quite interesting because the lady wasn't paying attention. The lady was more, when you're asking questions, but you're not interested in you're not paying attention to them, so you're not paying to understand. When the lady was quite shocked that Tk Kirkland said he doesn't pay child support, and the shock in the lady's face was, what? He doesn't pay child maintenance, I see. Well, but he then went on to explain that he actually pays child support, but he doesn't pay child support. Like the government ordered child support, not in that way, but he takes care of his kids. But still, while he still was reeling out all the things, making sure the kids are good, paying the education, all of that, the lady still wasn't satisfied. Lady still felt like he needed to actually pay money. And when he went and he said, okay, how about the house? And said he does all of that. The lady then went and said, oh, how about the mom? When the mom takes the kids to school, you have I think the youngest is about 16. So he's still a minor. The mom has to drive them. But he said, no, you don't have to drive him to school. He's old enough to go to school by himself. He said, what if when the mom drives him, does the mom have to, do you put fuel in the mom's car? He said, no. He said, do you pay for the car insurance? He said, no. And all of that. So, again, if you look at that interaction, you begin to then question, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about a child, or are we talking about the mom, which would be the kid's mom, which would be the ex, because they won't be together. So that brings me to my opinion on what child support, child maintenance. And then we need to first see, because there seems to be a lot of entitlement when it comes. That looks like someone that is talking from a place of entitlement, like entitled. And then again, you begin to question: are you talking about support for the child, or are you talking about support for the mom, for the ex? Well, I'll try to be objective with this. There are situations where, let's say you're with your partner, be your wife or girlfriend, you spend a very good number of years. Even in America, it's like, there's something in America, when someone has spent 10 years together, it's called spousal support. So you need to support them. So for me, if I'll be objective, if a woman has spent many years with me, supported my dream, let's say for Tk Kirkland, these are people that are ambitious, these are people that are like comedians, big comedians, going everywhere, traveling everywhere, but not really physically there most of the time, and the woman has it's a love. Speaking from experience as a single father of that I've got like primary care for my kids, and it's a lot of work. Though I still get to put in some work, but you can't do too much. You're still gonna be slowed down. The amount of hours you could put into your work will still be slowed down. And again, you're talking about kids that are young. So if someone is dedicating their time, you should know that some other things would suffer, or some other things will receive less, or it will just be a struggle. So it does make sense for the other party to support them financially, I would say. But by and large, I've always said that financial support is not just, it's not the only, and it's not the ultimate support. I would prefer for someone to be hands-on, because kids need structure. Especially as a father, you need to provide structure to a child. It's not money. Money won't do that. You need to raise the child's self-esteem, even by just taking the child, going to child's activities. It helps the child to grow, become strong individual, becomes someone with strong self-esteem, self-esteem. You're talking about attending school activities, parents' evening, just being present. Just being present alone, has a lot to do. So we should not center financial provision as the core. But in those situations, I think it's important for whoever is, and we know largely women are head of single household, but there are men as well, like myself. And I think in that situation, whoever is having plenty time to themselves should support. Or if you don't want to, you want to play those roles. The time you will spend taking those kids, the other parents can do something else. So I would say, but then again, there's the caveat that families should be able to do things voluntarily. But like Tk Kirkland said, he's not a bum. So all the bums will be someone that you have got someone pregnant, or you've been in a relationship with someone, relationship has broken down, and you can't let the child suffer. So I could understand where the states has come in terms of imposing child maintenance. But I think they should go after those men that have willfully neglected that responsibility. But then again, in doing that as well, we shouldn't only just emphasize. It's so hot today. We shouldn't only just emphasize monetary contribution. We should just emphasize the father spending time picking up. I was so surprised. There's a recent case. There's someone I recently was speaking to, and she said to me that she went to court to fight for the father of the kids. They got like a twin kid to actually pick the kids up for some days in the week, allow her to do work. I'm like, that is the first. This is the, and even she said that the judges themselves were surprised that that usually is the other way around. Usually the fathers that will bring mothers to the court to demand for access or demand for them to, but it's the mother in this case taking the father to the court and say, listen, you need to be in your child's life. I think more of that should be encouraged. So if we can enforce or impose monetary contribution, we should be able to impose that as well. So and then it should be even. So this whole idea that whether you like it or not, when we create some sort of bias, it incentivizes people that are disingenuous, people that are not genuine in really pushing relationship, and then having a baby becomes some sort of meal ticket. We've seen these cases, many of these cases. And look at the sad case of 50 Cent and Marquis, his son. You see early on, you see the relationship solid, but see how the relationship has gone really, really wrong, and that we could have lost. Usually, look at we've lost. Even if they repair it in the future, you've lost. You know how many years they've been like that. You've lost the son has lost the father, just because of child maintenance. Just because two parents parted ways and then can agree on how to focus on the best interest of the child. So I think there are ways we can do it. If the state has decided to intervene in this kind of like private personal stuff, then they should intervene in an even where you mandate whichever parent to be there alive, unless they're not capable. And then when they refuse to, then they need to pay for it, rather than making it, having these standard blankets, whatever that you have to. And then what happens? You incentivize, especially women, to do all of this. So child support is not a human right. So you shouldn't be entitled, and it's not keeping. But if I was sad on that case, the case of Dr. Dre and the wife, they would have been there for 24 years. The woman was a bit greedy, with what she was asking for. But again, I wouldn't feel any type of way if a woman that's been by my side for 24 years, there were part ways. I wouldn't mind sharing. Let's say I'm blessed. I wouldn't mind sharing a single portion of whatever it is I've acquired. We saw it with the case with Bill Gates. We saw it with Jeff Bezos. We saw it with these people. That doesn't stop them from doing things. Doesn't stop them from going on. It doesn't have to be acrimonious. But you need to put in the work. Not some people don't even know them. You just get maybe a couple of hours or days to get pregnant and have a baby, and then that is it. I've read ridiculous accounts where someone would date you for a few minutes, you break up, and then they're asking for money. Nah. Wait, this is abuse. We're abusing it. Or someone gets pregnant out of just this is abuse of the system. But yeah, I think more families should be encouraged to have their own kind of family arrangements and how they want to take care of the kids. And if the woman, which is usually the head of the single parents has to keep putting all of those time to take care of the kids while you're doing, then I think you should support. But other than that, otherwise, take on some of those roles. Have some kind of shared kind of arrangement where the kid is spending some time with you, certain number of days in the year, and then you're relieved. You could do whatever you want to do. But some women also they don't want the. I've had that experience personally back in the days where they don't want you to be. They deliberately isolate you from your child because they believe if you're there in the child's life, they wouldn't have been entitled to the money. So if you incentivize it, you've monetized it. So that is wrong. We've not put the interest of the child at heart. If a father, if the other parent wants to be involved in the life of the child, then they should be, and that should count as, because the time they will be doing that, it's time to make money. You could see it in monetary sense. So again, when we do things, it's just to build a family. There's no the objective of all of this talk is not to cause any division between genders or cause anything. It's to actually unite a family, and for us to put the children at the center. Because I've seen someone listen to them and felt like, oh, this is going to make the ex-partner enlightened, and I'm like, what's wrong with it? That's the whole point, to make them enlightened and motivate them to take on that responsibility. And I just don't like it when adults part ways and then they weaponize the child maintenance system, weaponize it. It's just, that is where it is wrong. Nobody should be taking care of a grown man's or grown woman's business. If you have a house, pay your house rent. If you have a car, pay your house rent. That's your child. Take care of your child. Don't use your child as a source of your lifestyle, for maintaining your lifestyle. That's just so wrong for anybody, man or female, male or female, man or woman. So I think the child should be. This is sad enough that the child doesn't live with the father and the mother. Do not complicate things. It's hard on the children. So we needed to put the children their best interest first. So I hope as many fathers, unfortunately, relationship might not work out, but let's put the children at heart, and let's not just start magnifying the essence and know what this child support is. All right, I'll let you go now. Enjoy your weekend.